welcome this morning. Here we are, 2020, Easter Sunday. Oh, blessings to everybody here. Thank you for joining me in this morning. Felt such a beautiful channel open up as I was playing the flute. I was transported back to a time when me and Monica were on the Oregon coast. And if many of you have never been to the Oregon coast, there are very few days on the Oregon coast where it is like pristine and perfect, like it is right now in right here in my backyard. It's like literally so perfect. The weather is calm, the wind is slight, the sun is out, there's a little bit of clouds. It's just gorgeous. And this is exactly how it was that day for us on the Oregon coast. And I was there and I was watching the waves tumble, and I was feeling the coolness of the sand under my feet, and really enjoying being on the coast of Oregon. And this is what, music gives us that opportunity, right? To transcend the physical and to step into the wave of the vibrational. This is what we're allowed to do with music. So today is Resurrection Sunday, Easter Sunday, Passover Sunday. And, normally we would all be getting ready to maybe spend some time with our family. And I know there are those of you out there that will be spending time with your family. And, us, we've made a decision to stay in our home today, which is hard. It's challenging. The suffering and the loneliness, it's real. Yesterday I experienced it, and it was really deep for me. I went into a very dense place, a place where my body just needed rest. I needed rest. I needed to lay down. I needed to just be in that. And, it was amazing because the weather kind of gave me that opportunity. It was raining and cloudy and cold yesterday, really unseasonably cold for us here in Arizona. And it was a time to just go inside and to really sit with those emotions that are coming up. The energy of loneliness, the energy of grief, the missing of our families. Good morning, Monica. Good morning, Natalie. Love you guys. Thank you for being here. And this is something that I feel is important about the process of an evolved spiritual person, is to not run from your emotions and to not supersede them with gratitude, right? Oh, you need to, why are you feeling that way? Or you need to feel this way? Or, one of the things that really the drum has taught me, and others have been brought into my life to help me realize, is that my emotions are really me. This is the truth of me. What I'm feeling in my body is what is my truth at that time. And if you've ever been, happy Easter, if you've ever been in a place where someone is dismissing your emotions and is, telling you to get over it, or all these things that we tell ourselves from time to time, it doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good at all. And oftentimes what happens is it gets us to a place of resentment. And this is something that we can do to ourselves if we allow our mind to go there and to really persecute and judge ourselves for what we're feeling. And in this time of great incubation, in this time of being in the darkness and being in the sacred womb, it's a time for us to emerge out of the tomb, right? And that's what this is. It's Resurrection Sunday. And it's a great reminder excuse me, of that process of coming out of the tomb, of coming to that place of recognizing your emergent self, that you have conquered death, that you have conquered separation. Ultimately, for those of us that are spiritually evolved, when we look at death, we don't look at it as the death of the physical. We look at it as separation from source. And this is something for us to realize, that we as physical beings that are in this place, we are in the cycle of going into the tomb and then coming out of the tomb. This is the place in which we are with our emotions. This is the cycles of life. This is what nature itself has revealed to us. And the story of Jesus going into the tomb is a great opportunity for us to be reminded that nature and that our own cycles of emotions are a part of the process of the metaphor inside of the story. This is important for us that are in a place of looking at, how do we apply the spiritual disciplines of the great teachers that have lived throughout time, that have come to a great place of understanding. How do we apply this in our own lives? And this is something that I would feel for all of us, to embrace separation, to embrace the mourning and the loss, just as Jesus did in the tomb. What parts of you are feeling separated from your family, feeling separated from your work? Have you acknowledged that? Have you sat in meditation? Have you sat in the space of going into the tomb instead of just destroying your feelings with your own logical mind, right? That's what the divine masculine has a really great way of doing. You know, we don't have time to feel that right now. I need to be there for my family. We don't have time to feel that right now. I need to be there for my spouse. We don't have time to feel that right now. I need to be there for my community. You know, this is what goes through me in my cycle of realization. And in that space of being in that place, I have come to the liberation of understanding that as I am grateful for that which I am feeling, as I hone into the energy and then utilize it to transform the world, I am becoming loosened from the hyper focus of the emotional density, and instead I'm applying the transformational parts of my own suffering to this world to bring about change. And what is it that Jesus taught us when he went into the tomb, when he went into the dark place, when he went into that place of separation from God, as he took on the sin, which is separation right from the source? This is what we are taught inside of the great story and the great mystery of Jesus Christ, is that he took on the separation of humanity from God. And in doing that, he went into the tomb to emerge victorious over death. What parts of you are victorious over the density of your own human suffering? What parts of you are allowing for the acknowledgement of your suffering, acknowledgement of your depression, acknowledgement of your grief, acknowledgement of the cycles of life? What parts of you have gone into the tomb and have risen victorious? I know some of us have gone through addiction. Some of us have gone through divorce. Some of us have gone through the pain and the suffering even of sexual abuse and trauma as children. Have you sat with those feelings, or have you suppressed them over and over and over again? Are you fortifying the walls of the tomb instead of rolling away the stone to come out and to say, here I am victorious? If that is you, I want you to know today is a great day to realize your potential. Today is the day for you to begin to minister to yourself, to activate the child within, to activate the divine feminine, to activate the divine masculine, to be the whole person that you have wanted to be, that you have wanted in your mom, that you have wanted in your father, that you have wanted in yourself. Today is the day to bring about revelation and change for you. And I want to encourage you, no matter where you're at, no matter what's going on in your life, no matter what process is in you, no matter what is so dense that it feels like you can't, there's birds in the garden right now. Hey, get out of there. It doesn't want to leave. It's a dove. It's a good sign. Whatever you're going through in your life, whatever challenges you're faced with, all of that is really about you transcending. It is about you not just pushing it down and fortifying the walls of the tomb, but it's about you feeling into that space, because energy exists in two forms, density and flow. And density always has potential. This is what we're taught as we look into understanding quantum physics, understanding the subatomic frequency, understanding the space that brings about the transformational energy that brings consciousness into matter. What is real is the blueprint, right? It's the blueprint. It's not actually the chair. The chair has a design. Someone writes it down. It writes down the dimensions of the chair, the height of the chair, what kind of materials are going to be used by the chair. And the chair sits in a place that is subjected to change. Now, listen to me right now, because there's something here. There's a great teaching here that I want to share with you that can really encourage you in your process and help you to understand how we decide to create metaphysical architecture and relational spirituality. And when we take ownership of the metaphysical architecture, the defining of the chair, we realize that it is our thoughts. It is the blueprint that is more real than the actual chair. Now, how can you say that, right? You're probably looking at me and you're thinking to yourself, how can the blueprint, how can the thoughts be more real than the chair itself? And I'll tell you why. This reality is subjected to change. Change is the constant that we all depend upon. It is the very matter, the material of our reality. So as we sit in the place of understanding that the design of reality is actually more true and has more integrity than the reality itself, we can sit back in the place of peace and comfort in knowing that we are the catalyst for that design. The chair and the blueprint, right? How do they interact with one another? They interact with one another in the meeting place of the person that sits in the chair. Are you sitting in the chair of victory? Are you sitting in the chair of understanding that the density of your suffering is the catalyst for the greatest fortification of who you are to come out of this incubation period? The incubation that we're in right now, the blessing that COVID has given to us. The blessing that Corona has given to us. All of the blessings are this incubation period. Are we going to use the energy of our grief, our suffering, our depression, our loneliness? Are we going to use it to apply to our lives in the way in which we emerge victorious? I'm believing in you right now. I'm believing in you and where you're at. I'm believing you in the trauma that has come through in this time of stillness. Us in our society, especially in our American society, we are in such a place of struggling to evolve emotionally. There are people that are out there that are 2, 3, 4-year-olds emotionally because they have never been given an opportunity to step away from doing to being. It is the beingness, the human being, that is the one that evolves spiritually, that evolves emotionally, that evolves to a place in which they can come out of the tomb and say, I am victorious over separation from source. I am victorious over the confusion of religion. I am victorious over the confusion of my own emotions. I am victorious over that which once bound me to captivity. This is the process of what Jesus is telling us as he went into the tomb and was brought out on Resurrection Sunday. This is the realization that is beyond the religious dogma that was created in order to separate us from love. It is love that really brings us to that place of great revelation. Understand that love and gratitude are the gift of this experience. And in your love and gratitude for that which you are suffering through, you are victorious. You are the one that is rolling the stone away and coming out of the tomb. You are the revelation. You are the one that we have been waiting for. And I am so grateful to know you in this ministry space and at this altar and in this sacred way of connecting. I want you to know that in my own pain and suffering, in my own anger towards the institution, there was a time when even that word Jesus Christ was something that I didn't even want to say out of my mouth. And if that's you, I'm with you. I know that pain. I know that suffering. I know what it's like to be in a place. I'll share a story with you. So my mom died of a cocaine overdose, and my mom struggled with addiction her entire life. And I remember my uncle coming to her funeral, and I was so confused, man. I was like, 18, 19-year-old kid and struggling with addiction myself, struggling with methamphetamine and cocaine and alcoholism and all of that. I was in a messed up place. And my uncle, my mom's there in the casket, and we're having this funeral, and my uncle gets up in front of the group of us kids, my cousins, my whole family is there basically, and some friends of my mom. And he's this Baptist minister, and he gets up in front of this crowd and he starts talking about a wasted life. This is my mom that's in a casket in front of me. Oh man, I get emotional talking about this because there's a part of it that's still dense. There's still a gravity there. And I want to thank you for allowing me to acknowledge this in this process. This is part of my coming out of the tomb right in front of you, right here. And in that place of being where I was in numbness, there was a part of me that wanted to get up and just yell in front of my cousins, in front of my family, and just say, you know what? That isn't my mom. My mom wasn't a piece of shit junkie like you're talking about. My mom wasn't this horrible person like you're proclaiming her to be on her funeral day. She wasn't that. My mom loved people. She loved me. She was in the struggle of addiction. This society that we have created, a punitive society, that we look at people that are less than, that are using substances as the most horrible people in the world. This is what we have to overcome. This is the process of allowing for the namaste to manifest itself, to see the likeness of God inside of one another. But gratefully, in the crowd of people that had gathered there to celebrate my mom's life, in the middle of my pompous Baptist preacher's uncle's sermon, a man stood up and raised his hand. And he was a homeless man that used to come to our home, in the projects in Portland, Oregon. He would come and he would be filthy. And my mom would offer him a shower. She would give him food. They would get high together. That was the culture. Maybe a place to get high and feel safe. Because it wasn't out here in the world. The world wasn't giving people like Rick a place to get high. It wasn't giving people, my mom's friends, a place to feel safe where they weren't going to be persecuted or their Social Security checks taken or they were going to be hurt by others. But my mom gave him that. And I remember him raising his hand and saying, I don't know the Kathy that you're talking about, but the Kathy that I knew always gave me a place to stay, always gave me a place to rest my head, always gave me a place to shower. And this is the part of my mom coming out of the tomb to be victorious over the addiction, right? To say that there's a place inside of a person who is struggling with drug addiction that is comforting. The people that are really the animals of the war on drugs, those are people that are following greed. And this is the truth about any institution that's out there. The people that are following greed become the most malicious, vicious people that you could ever imagine. And what is the basis of the system? The foundation of the system is we applaud greedy people. People hurting from drug addiction and are selling a dime or $20 worth of drugs to support themselves. These aren't the drug dealers that are vicious and horrible, monsters. It's the people that want to buy cars from selling drugs, just like the pharmaceutical companies. These are the areas in our culture that we need to come out of the tomb with. We need to come out of the darkness with. We need to come out of that place and love one another. In the density of my own human emotion as being that little boy wanting to raise my hand and yell at my family, there's a part of me that says, I need to comfort that part. I need to love that part. I need to sit with it. And I want to thank you for being here with me to allow me to sit with that and to transform and to come out of the tomb. And if you need a witness to whatever it is that you're going through, reach out to me, please. I would love to be with you and help you in whatever it is you're going through. One-on-one sound session, one-on-one ministry session, all of that's available if you just ask. You're not alone. This is a place that we can get through this time of being in the tomb together. We can get through it and we can come out emerged, victorious over separation. So we're going to go into the prayer place now. And I brought here to the altar a couple of coals I'm going to burn here. And for those of you that haven't journeyed in this prayer place before, it's a place that we give thanks for that which we have not seen. And prayer is a place of meeting with source energy. That's what I like to say. And so we come to this place now in a great realization of being together with the infinite source. So the way that I pray is that I'll give thanks for that which we do not see. And then I'm going to go into something they call a light language, or speaking in tongues, or the sun language, I've heard natives call it. It's a way of connecting to the spiritual. And yesterday I had this amazing interaction with the Holy Spirit, and man, it felt so tangible. It was like the veil of reality was so thin, it felt like I could push my hand through what I was seeing, and on the other side of it, there was something there. And just when I was thinking that, I was observing myself praying in another dimension, really. And as I was observing myself and allowing for the Holy Spirit to minister to me, I thought about the veil of reality. And right then, this hummingbird literally buzzed underneath my patio and came so close to my face. It was amazing. And these are the revelations that come from this prayer place. So I would encourage you, if you want to close your eyes, that's fine, to feel into the prayer that way. If you want to keep your eyes open, that's fine as well. Whatever it is that you want to do to feel comfortable, that's perfect. And we're going to go into the prayer place and Thank you, Monica, for sharing that. I appreciate that about my mom. And yeah, my mom is with me in a good way, and my dad is too. So give thanks to them. So we're going to go ahead and go into the prayer place. And then at the end of the prayer place, I'll work in the gift of prophecy. And in the gift of prophecy, if you have a question in your soul, it may come through for you. It may be answered for you. It may be talked about. You know, sometimes people have like questions and they tell me, you know, when you're in that gift of prophecy, you know, my one brother who comes on here, Zeke, he said, I think I could hold up, you know, how many fingers I'm to you, and you would tell me, because it's like, you know, we're in the infinite source, the infinite intelligence together. And when we're in that space of infinite intelligence, wisdom comes through. So oftentimes we need to give ourselves a moment to really sit with the wisdom. You know, the download happens, the wheel is spinning, and we might not get the revelation from it that we need right in the moment. But realize that the revelation is coming. Realize that. All right, so we're going to go into the prayer now and give thanks for all of you that are joining me here. And if you could share this out, that would be great. Share it to your spiritual group, share it to your Reiki group, share it to your friends. I really appreciate the shares, and also the hearts and the likes. So give thanks. I'm burning some cedars here at the altar space for everyone, and you know, bless you guys. Let me use my rattle. Oh, Father, Mother, Creator, Source, I thank you for this beautiful prayer today. I thank you for the beautiful sunlight. I thank you for this opportunity to meet with my relatives here and to pray together, this circle of light. I thank you that this circle has been cast, and that all that is in love, all that is in peace, all that is in the goodness of the heart space of intimacy is connected to this place. I thank you that in this place we have come into relationship with the air, the water, the fire, the earth, gravity, time, and spirit. We thank you that in this meeting place that we can acknowledge all that is in the institution of religion, in the institution of government, in the institution of spirituality, in the institution of education. And we thank you that you have brought us to this place of recognizing ourselves. We thank you for our families, our moms, our dads, our grandmas, our grandpas, our aunties, our uncles, our cousins, our sons, our daughters. We thank you for the tribal nations, the indigenous people of the lands that we reside upon. We thank you for the indigenous people here of the Akmel Atam, the land that we rest our head and that we put our feet upon, these indigenous lands of these holy people, the Maricopa, the Peepash. We thank you for these lands here, and we give thanks to the opportunity to pray and have ceremony on these lands and to be in the witness of the power of what it means to be holy people, called in accordance with the will of the Most High, to be in a place of prosperity, to prosper exceedingly and abundantly above anything that we can ever hope or imagine. We thank you for that prosperity. We thank you that you have burnt up in the fire of our ancestral fire the insecurities, the financial insecurities, the spiritual insecurities, the physical insecurities, the health insecurities, that you have instead replaced that energy of insecurity with a fiery hedge of protection, that we have come to the place to ask of the angels that they would minister to us in the unseen parts, and all the holy people that have come here now, the star nations, the animal people, those that are in the place of revelation about the lives that we have lived in the infinite representation of our eternal nature, the many lifetimes that we have lived upon this earth, Creator. We call upon those witnesses of the evolution of our own consciousness, and we thank you that in this cycle of realization that you have brought us to a place of understanding, and in this understanding that we have the power of love as the magnitude and the force to give us the freedom in our lives to have victory today from separation, to instead walk in the eternal place of the oneness of the Most High. We thank you that inside of this place that we can be individual, that we can sing our songs, that we can have our cultural identity, and we can play our drums and do our dances. And in this place, we are given love. We are given peace. We are given joy. We thank you for the military-industrial complex, and we pray that there would be peace in the land. We thank you for any individuals that are feeling fear in their hearts. We thank you for that fear, and we pray that you would restore that fear with peace, that you would allow for the peace that surpasses all understanding to guard the hearts and the minds of the people. We pray, Creator, that you would move upon the earth and that you would give comfort to all the healthcare workers, all the nurses, all the caregivers, all the administrators, all those that are working in the cafeterias, working in the maintenance, all those working in the hospitals, that you would comfort them and give them strength, Creator God. We thank you for that strength. We thank you that you have worked now in the education, that you are allowing for the children to be educated at even a greater pace, that even outside of the institution of the classroom, that you are allowing for children to understand themselves, and that you are empowering mothers and fathers, and you are making a way for that empowerment to transcend. We thank you for the restoration of the family, the restoration of the community, the restoration of the planet, and our individual restoration. We thank you for giving us the understanding of the divine feminine, the divine masculine, and the inner child. We thank you for our relationship to the new people. We thank you for our relationship to our family, our relationship to community. We thank you for our relationship to the air, the water, the fire, the earth, gravity, time, and the spirit, the Most High. We thank you for that source right now moving in us. We thank you for the goddess, the God. We thank you for the Alpha, the Omega, the darkness, the light. We thank you for the holiness of the understanding of the Fibonacci sequence. We thank you for the understanding of what it means to be in a place in which we are in relationship to the sacred geometry, the tree of life, the flower of life, Metatron's cube. We thank you for the activation inside of the holiness of these activating sources of energy. We thank you for the realization of the dodecahedron, the cubo-octahedron, all the forms of sacred geometry, the circle, the square, the triangle. We thank you that in this place of great activation, that you have the limitless potential of activating us even on a genetic level. We thank you for encoding in us the ability to be in a place of divine health. We thank you for many years of life. We thank you for blessing our grandchildren. We thank you for giving ideas and vision to our children. We thank you for blessing us everywhere we go. We thank you that people who come into contact with us know us already and they want to give to us. We thank you for the blessing of being able to receive the abundant flow of life, that you are even ministering to us in the unseen parts of our reality. We thank you for the holiness that is moving upon the earth even right now. Oyi ma wo kone ma wo bori wa kone ma da wo she dan da to ka ne pa ka si ni to te ne to anya to sha che ton ke ma wo kan sti doske no ma ka ashenet unti shakama anda be to ka si ni to ri ma ka andi to shimat ikuni Benito okasinito rino moshuki sinita aneto kesane waka. Betito kanita onta kon shinito oma. Uriti kinti sinita anata. Urishima bako. Sanitari mako anatoni da chinkine wani to anita awakoma a. Benito anito okashine waka nito ma anita ariwaka. Bori bakori 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 ba ali toti bako basinita aka nito oshine akasinita ama toti wakanita anawa sinita ama yemante sinito kenenita ma shinito nina ma roka sinita ana bonita sinito ka. Peaceful understanding of that which is wild is to be in relationship with that which is wild. The wild places are to be wild. The nature within humans to be wild must be activated. We must be realized as members of the earth again, members of this community again, members of what it means to be of the air, the water, the fire, the earth. This is what I have given to you as a path, a road to follow. This is the journey that awakens you to the realization of your spiritual identity. It is on this road that you find the friend in the cat, the friend in the bear, the friend in the eagle, the friend in the owl, the friend in the coyote, the friend in the fish of the sea. You find allies in your life, and you connect to them as friends, calling them even by name out of the darkest wilderness, calling them even by name at the edge of the wild place. You are wild, a wild citizen of the star nations, a wild citizen of the air, the water, the fire, the earth. You must realize this potential inside of yourself to live as holy, wild earthlings. Fear is but another form of density, energetic density that has potential. The potential to harness the power of fear is the realization of your sovereignty. You are a sovereign emotional being. This is the capability that has been sewn into your DNA. And you, as you walk in the ability to feel the earth underneath you, to ground into the earth, and to allow for the emotional, experiential energy to manifest in that relationship, you are the catalyst for the use of your empathy and allowing for your empathy to manifest itself in your life as a gift. This is the conversation, the story, the narrative that must be activated within the mind's place. The consciousness of confusion and the illusion of captivity has brought you to a place of isolation, but it is because you are not practiced. The world is practicing the gift of empathy. It is practicing it in the relationship to the trees. It is practicing it in the washing of your face in the waters that have been given to you. You are in empathy to the sentient nature of the planet herself. Realize that the infinite goddess source energy within you is that part of your practicing of your empathy. You must realize this if you are to awaken yourself and to evolve spiritually. You must allow for that place inside of you to grow. It is the very gift of your incarnation to be one who can manipulate energy to serve the greatest good. Is it more now than it ever was? This is the story that we have given ourselves, the narrative. And in all actuality, the soul knows the density of suffering, the density of fear on a greater level than even in this incarnation. The comforts that are around you are supposed to comfort you in this time of evolution, but yet you have sought to be in a place of suffering. You have created a narrative around yourself of suffering. Free yourself and realize the comforts that are here. The comforting place inside of yourself is within the feminine. Realize the feminine, the goddess power inside of you. As you touch the earth and you allow for the dirt to be in your hands again, as you plant your seeds in the earth again, as you realize the infinite source within your mind, as you allow for your gifts, your psychic realization, your empathetic gifts, your telepathic gifts, your ability to speak to the tree, to speak to the air, the water, the fire, to listen to the crackle of the fire and to know that it is crackling for you. Look to the stars now again. See the stars in a new way. See the sun in a new way. See the clouds in a new way. Remember, daughter. Remember, child. Remember, grandchild, who you are. You have been here before. You will be here again. It is this time of great comforting that you are awakened to that realization. You must allow yourself to open your eyes. In the absence of those that were called to teach, we have been brought to the place to teach ourselves, to allow for the infinite source energy to be our guide. It is the intelligence of the universe that brings about that catalyst, no longer a victim to our mother or father, but they have been exactly what we have called into our lives karmically. There are no longer any more choices of the victimization. Instead, the realization that in your suffering, you have a gift to give to others. In the trauma of your sexual abuse, in the trauma of your physical abuse, in the place in which you were brought to that place of suffering, you are given the opportunity to utilize those emotions to connect to another. The service road is in front of you. Narrow is that service road. Because you are filled with love, you must be in that place. You have called the guides in on your own, yet you reach out for the design. You have called the guides in on your own, yet you reach out for the design. The design is within you. Listen to your consciousness as the animals play in the playground of your own field. Listen to your consciousness as you begin to define your guides. Your guides are nothing more than the metaphysical architecture that is your design. No longer to run to the outside understanding. No longer to Google on your phone the answers. The answers are within you. You must create the totems. You must create the altar. You must be responsible. You are the priestess, the priest, the prophet. You are the shaman. You are the one that has been risen from the very ashes of the fireplaces of your ancestors, the prayers and the dances that are around you and within you. This must be the place that you find your revelation. Cut the chains. Burn like the blue flame fire. Realize the importance of this space. My name is Andrew Ecker, my mother Kathy Lindsay, my father Dale Ecker, my mother's mother Elva Gallegos, my father's mother Evelyn Beatty, my mother's father Leroy Lindsay, my father's father Wayne Ecker. Dogate Andrew Ecker Yinishe, Adona E Nishinigi E, Ide Nishe, Irish Bashachin, Ide Dashache, German Dashanali, Akote Go E Tishli E, Portland, Oregon Inasha, Shema E Kathy Lindsay Woye, Shaza E Dale Ecker Wole. I incarnated into this body in Portland, Oregon. I reside here in Phoenix, Arizona. Grateful for all of you being here. Thank you so much for tuning in. Blessings to you. And I'll see you tomorrow around the same time. If you can, please share this. Also, go to the Sacred Seven page and like the Sacred Seven page. Follow me here on Facebook. I do these daily prayers and meditations every day. So please come back and look forward to seeing all of you. If you'd like a free copy of my book, thesacred7.com, you can get a copy of my book. And remember, the truth is in you. Beauty above, beauty below, beauty beside, beauty in front, beauty behind, beauty within. I am, we are made beautiful again. I hope.